Welcome back. In this demonstration, we're going to start a monochromatic cityscape. This is in a previous example. It's a little smaller. We're going to make ours a little bigger, and it's going to be a different format. But some of the ideas that we're going to follow today are, number one, line. We're going to be using line in our drawing to create outlines for our buildings. And if I pull this away for a second, you can see this example here with the lines creating those outlines of the building. Okay. Secondly, we're going to use shape. Once we use our outlines, we're going to make them into shapes for the buildings so that we have a bunch of different buildings in our picture. All right. Next, we're going to be using overlapping. Okay. We're going to have one row of buildings in the front and the second row in the back. So those two rows of buildings and overlapping will give our picture space and depth. And lastly, we're going to use variety. We want to have a bunch of different tops on our buildings because this will make our picture look more interesting at the end. Okay, so for getting started, you're going to need an 80-pound piece of paper. And it's going to end up looking something like this. If I tilt it up, you can see the pencil lines a little better. And we're going to have our buildings for a cityscape kind of going vertically. So first things first, take your paper, get a pencil, write your name clearly on the back. I'm going to write Mr. Lundgren. And then write your teacher. And write your grade number. Okay, once you've got that done, give me a thumbs up. Great. Now flip your paper over and we're going to start working on our paper so it's vertically. Okay, so it's nice and tall, the hamburger way, not horizontal, the hot dog way, but vertical, the hamburger way, like that. Now you're going to take about, I'd say 6 fingers, 3 and 3, and you're just going to draw a line right there. This is going to end up being the front of our building, the bottom of our buildings. And I'm going to just draw another parallel line right there so we have a little space. Okay, now we're going to start drawing our buildings. I'm going to pull this piece right down to the end of the screen so you can see all the way up to the top of my paper. And now I'm going to draw some buildings. I'm going to start with one building kind of right about here, and it's going to go a little less than halfway up this space. All right, and I'm just going to start, and I'm going to make this one very simple. I'm just going to make it a rectangle. All right, just like that. Make sure the edges of your building are nice and straight and the top is nice and flat. Then we're going to go into some overlapping. Okay, get that building done. Great, now we're going to do some overlapping. I'm going to start right here at the top of my building, and I'm just going to draw straight up over, and I'm going to draw a little bump like this and then straight down. And this is going to be my second building. It's behind my first one, right? And you can see that because of our overlapping right there. Now I'm going to make a third building. And it's going to be a little smaller. And I'm going to draw just a straight line out here and then down like that, but I'm going to put something different on the top so that we have some variety. I'm just going to put a dome on the top like that. Okay, so we can start to have a little variety. Now I'm going to make another building. I'm going to start right here in the top of my dome so that it's overlapping again. I'm going to go straight up. I'm going to stop there, and I'm going to start over here and draw a line straight down for the side of my building. Now, up here on the top, you decide what you want. You can do any kind of shape you want. I'm going to do like a triangle here. I'm going to draw a dot right up there where I want the top of my triangle. And I'm going to draw straight down and straight down so I have a triangle top or a pointed top of that building. Then I'm just going to draw a line from here straight over like that to make a building on the edge. And I'm going to go work on this side now. I'm going to make a shorter building like this with a little triangle top. And then I'm going to put another building right behind it like that. Now we have our first row of buildings. Take the next couple minutes to finish the first row of buildings. Good. Now we're going to start overlapping a second set of buildings behind our first set. Okay, start anywhere you want, really. And we're going to make our buildings about that tall. We want to have about 4 or 5 fingers from the top so we have enough room for our sky. But I'm going to start about here, and I'm just going to draw a straight line up. And I'm going to start right here and draw another straight line up for my building in the back. Okay, then on the top, do whatever you want. I'm going to make some curved lines, kind of triangular, but kind of curved. And I'm going to draw an imaginary line right up the top there. And then I'm just going to make my little curved lines a little bit smaller each time, kind of like the Chrysler building in New York. Okay, kind of like that. Now, make another building. I'm going to take a line straight out from the side here and straight up from the edge of this dome and over. And then I'm just going to do some triangles. I'm going to make mine symmetrical. Just like that. Then we'll do another building back here. Straight line up, a straight line up, and this one I'm going to put a dome on the top of, just like this one here. And then I have 2 more buildings, one on either side. One here. So there's a building right back there, and another building over here in the back. So I've got my first row of buildings and my second row of buildings like that. When you get that done, give me a thumbs up and we'll move on to our next part of the picture.